Welcome to Radio Row at Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. I'm Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network, and we're so excited today to have with us special guest Dedan Brozino. Dedan is the president of the Rose Bowl Legacy Foundation. So, Dedan, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having us, Roy. You've been such a good partner to nonprofit organizations across the country, elevating everybody's voice. So we really appreciate what you're doing as well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I know you were one of our favorite people at Sports Philanthropy World a couple of years ago, made the long journey just for a 1 hour session. So that meant a lot to us, and your support and guidance has been fantastic. So you've got an exciting few years ahead of you with the Rose Bowl and the Olympics coming up. And so tell us about some of the big projects that you're working on.
Yeah, we have the 2028 LA Olympic Games. We're going to be the semifinals and the finals of the men's and women's soccer event. So we're very excited about that. But also leading up to it, we are also a 103 years young venue. We're very excited about that. But we're getting ready for the Olympics by putting 80 to 100 million dollars into the venue itself. So about 3 weeks ago, as you and I stand here for the Super Bowl Radio Row, we broke ground on a $30 million South Endzone Field Club. That's really going to, I think, change the paradigm of how the modern day fan enjoys the traditional angles and the elements of the Rose Bowl. You've been there yourself. It's an incredible spot. I mean, just talking to people all around Radio Row today, when people talk about the Rose Bowl, they get very childlike in a good way. No two stories are the same. They can describe it, but it's also hard to describe. It's just this magical place. And by putting that fundraise money into the venue over the next few years, up to and through the Olympics, we're hoping it elevates the venue into this next generation of fans, and while not ruining where we came from.
Well, and like you said, the setting is iconic. There's nothing like New Year's Day sitting in the Rose Bowl watching the sunset over the mountains as you go into the fourth quarter of the Rose Bowl game. That's one of the best places on earth. But you're changing in the foundation and the institute have really changed the landscape of what the Rose Bowl is doing and giving you a year-round presence.
Yeah, no, it's I appreciate you saying that. The foundation was kind of formed by happenstance, I guess. When we took out bonds to renovate the stadium back in 2010, there was a shortfall on the money. We had already taken out the bonds. They put a hammer in the wall and they found stuff. It's an old venue, historic landmark venue. So they had no way to really, you couldn't go back in for a second round of bonds. So they founded this 501c3 to help raise the money for that shortfall, which was about $12 million. They thought it was just going to be for that project. And here we are today. We've raised over $80 million privately from around the country, from state, federal sources, not just private philanthropy. And it's really been an important road, I think, because it's a message to the country of a city-owned, municipally owned venue that has private support. And that's a really, I think, interesting angle for people to understand and how important the Rose Bowl is, that they're giving money essentially to City Hall to preserve it.
Well, the whole character of Pasadena, the Rose Parade, the game, the stadium, really developed that culture. And now talk about like all these other events that are being hosted in terms of concerts and summits and conferences.
Yeah. The best kept secret, I think, is we do more music events every year than we do sporting events. We're known for football, but I think there's also a generation that knows us for Chapel Roan. They know us for the music festival. They know us for the flea market. And that's a really cool, nimble dynamic of the stadium at 103 years young is they're we want people to know it, not just for UCLA football, the Rose Bowl game. We want them to have their own memory there. And not everybody's a football fan. Not everybody's a music fan. It's a really important part of our evolution as we get ready for the Olympics, and I think a hugely symbolic, I guess, feather in the cap that we are this every person venue, every man venue. And the Olympics, I think that's the symbolism of the Olympics is you get these different countries coming together, talking about sportsmanship, talking about one specific thing and competing for that 2-3 week period. That's what the Rose Bowl has been. It's welcomed people from all walks of life, from countries around the world, regardless of what their interest may or may not be. We even have a golf course out there.
So as you look ahead to the Olympics, right? We're a couple years away from the Olympics. These renovations will all be completed. What events is the stadium going to host?
We're going to host the semifinals and the finals of men's and women's soccer in the LA28 Olympics. We're very excited about that. Personally, I actually think we do soccer better than anything else. I mean, it's a natural bowl. There's no obstructed view seats throughout there. We're the only stadium in the world that have 3 Olympics and 2 World Cups. So to get soccer back and not have to build a track for track and field or not have to build a pool, just to be able to do what the venue is naturally there to do, I think it's one of our hallmarks throughout the years. And to partner that Olympics with the sunset and everything that you described earlier is going to be just phenomenal.
Well, and we all remember the famous goal by Brandi
Yeah.
Chastain to win the Women's World Cup in 1999. It was an amazing moment at the Rose Bowl. And so looking ahead now to semifinals and finals, it's going to be an iconic venue, typically great weather at that time of year.
Yeah, hopefully we have another moment like that. But I mean, that Brandi Chastain moment where I think we're coming, they're doing a documentary on it, they're making a movie, I heard. That moment meant as much to people, or so depending on who you talk to, more than Title IX. You think about the generation of Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe and the group that is kind of getting ready to term out for the next era of women's soccer in the United States. That that Brandi Chastain moment inspired all of those people. So we're very fortunate, I think, to have that signature as a venue that is magnetic for those big events.
And it was such a authentic reaction, right? It wasn't something that was scripted or rehearsed. And you talk to her and she'll talk about almost being embarrassed about the fact that she did that. It was just so spontaneous and such pure joy and adrenaline and everything that ran into that moment.
And I think when you look at like philanthropy and you look at sports and how it all blends together, Brandi wasn't even supposed to kick that day. So when you look at like the mission of any nonprofit organization, you wake up every day just trying to be prepared, trying to be ready, not knowing if today's your day, you're going to get the gift that changes your mission for the future, or today's the day that you're going to be able to grow your staff to expand your mission across the state or the country or wherever it is you may be servicing. Brandi wasn't supposed to kick that day. You know, the fifth kicker for the United States cramped up because of the heat that we had that day against China, and the coach came and got her off the bench and she was ready to go. And I think it says a lot about just being prepared in life to you know make sure you're running after your mission in the right way, making sure you're taking the day to day with the right mindset. And philanthropy is the backbone of what this country does, in my opinion.
Well, and one of the things that you know from sports, right? We always have to be ready. Player can get injured at any moment. You can be sitting on the bench, and then the next minute you're in there, no matter what position you are, what sport it is. But life is the same way. If you're in business and you work for somebody else, that person could be in a car accident, could be killed in heart attack, anything else that happens in the world, and you've got to kind of be on standby and ready to go. None of us know what's going to happen. So
Yeah, there's something to be said about taking care of your teammate, right? Like not just in that locker room being ready. Brandi was clearly ready, but there's something to be said about taking care of your teammate in life too. And I think the power of philanthropy and what it stands for, regardless of the mission, it's such a beautiful thing about this country, about this world, that we have generous people that get to generous missions, thoughtful missions, of people just wanting to advance whatever their cause may be. Ours happens to be the Rose Bowl, but it makes it no more important than the thousands, tens of thousands of other causes that are around this country and this world that just inspire people to want to make change.
well, your leadership and your generosity really impacts everything we're doing with Sports Philanthropy Network. We appreciate your support of Sports Philanthropy World, and we look forward to hopefully partnering with you and in the Rose Bowl for a future opportunity there. And having you in Indianapolis with us this year at Lilly Family School of Philanthropy in August. So thank you for taking time out of a crazy schedule.
One of the best conferences in the country. So anybody that hasn't been there, if you need a testimonial, anybody, you got to go to this conference. It's unbelievable. It's one of the best networking sessions I've ever personally witnessed, and I've been in a lot of good ones. But what Roy puts together with his team and this network of people around the country is truly inspiring. And I really encourage anybody that hasn't been to go, and those that have been, repeat. It's time to come back. So.
Well, for Dedan Brozino with the Rose Bowl Legacy Foundation, I'm Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network, live from Radio Row at Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco, reminding everybody, live generously.